Hi. In my last video, I was talking about the current situation in Ukraine and the fact that all of us, every single person in the world, is watching and experiencing it in whatever way is unique to us, that some people are more vulnerable to the impact of the stress, the distress, the trauma. But all of us are vulnerable at some level. And there's a term that you might hear or know of. It's called secondary trauma. It's a very real phenomenon, and it means I may not be experiencing the trauma firsthand, but I'm absorbing it because I'm hearing about it, I'm receiving it. People who are first responders often experience secondary trauma, and it has a profound effect on their emotional health and well-being. The same thing can happen when we ingest too much trauma. It happened during and around 9/11, where we watched the images over and over and over again. So there is a danger of that happening now for everyone. And then in the video that I filmed before, I talked about specific groups. And if you didn't see that, check that out so that you can think about who those might be, either you yourself or people in your life. So now I want to talk a little bit more specifically about recognizing sort of signs and indications that what you're experiencing may be having a detrimental effect on your well-being. Again, normal to feel sad, anxious, distressed. It's the intensity of it, and it's how is it affecting your relationships, your work. So it may be something in the back of your mind, but is it preventing you from doing your day-to-day work? Are you noticing, or are others telling you, or are you seeing it someone that you care about? The irritability, maybe tearfulness. We often see that people who are experiencing either trauma or secondary trauma or being triggered from prior traumas have difficulty sleeping, difficulty eating. They're not as interested in doing activities that normally they would do. They're not taking care of themselves. These are all signs that we are hurting, suffering. They're signs we can see in ourselves, and they're signs that we can see in somebody that we care about. So let's say you see some of those things. What do you do about it? First of all, think about limiting your exposure to the news, what's going on. You can do that in a number of ways. It doesn't mean you're going to turn it off completely, because in a way, I feel like we must be witness to what's happening. That is the least we can do. But we also need to make sure we're taking care of ourselves and the people we care about, because we can't be of help to others if we're not taking good care of ourselves. So limit your exposure. Maybe it's better to read rather than watch. Maybe it's better to read once a day or watch once a day than constantly. If that's too much, you might need to take a break, literally, from the news and then come back to it. Or you may ask someone that you care about to kind of fill you in. Another thing that you can do is think about, what are your self-care routines that maybe you're not doing now? What's good for you? Is it exercising? Is it journaling, meditation, which is really good for me? I swim. That's sort of like a meditative state I get into. Gardening, cooking. Do things that are healthy for you to build up your sense of goodness inside of you. Talk to others, share, reach out to your peers who may be feeling something similar, especially people who maybe have experienced things that have especially been painful for you. If you are worried about yourself or someone that you care about, please seek mental health care. Talk to a mental health care professional, talk to a medical professional about what's going on. Counseling, therapy, it's a gift when we can get it. It's hard to access, and we're going to be talking over time about that as well. But it's good for us. It's like physical therapy when you have a physical injury. If this is causing you pain and an injury, get help. Seek help from others. Seek help from a professional. Take good care of yourself. Take good care of each other. Reach out to people who are hurting and reach out for help yourself. Thank you for listening.